Brought to you by the great Ground News. This is the FiveStack with Dean Blundell and Zev Shalev. Welcome to the show, everybody. So excited to have groundnews.com with us. And they'll have a great deal for you at 40% off their Vantage plans for only FiveStack viewers and subscribers. And we'll tell you more about that as we get into here. How are you, Dean?
Yeah, I'm really good. Everything I did today, you can find at groundnews.com. Like everything.
Just the
not like everything, but like all the Coles notes, the cheat sheets. Listen, go to groundnews.com, 40% off FiveStack /FiveStack before, because I cannot stop singing their praises. People asked me a couple questions the other day. They're like, how are you so calm and reporting all of these terrible things? And how do you look on the bright side? And how can you see the truth when other people can't? And I'm like, groundnews.com /FiveStack, 40% off your Vantage. It's true. It's like having a pocket server for disinformation that you can cut through, and then you can go and build on that, which is what we do here, cross-referencing a bunch of different sources. Ground News is never wrong. Canadian company. Again, groundnews.com /FiveStack. Happy to have them as a partner. I've been a client for a long time. Anyway, I'm good. Huh?
You know what I love about them is they always like find the stories that we just, you wouldn't find otherwise. Just the kind of things that you will just let go. You would slip by you and you'd say, that doesn't really matter. I always find it on Ground News. And we have one of them today in the lineup because it's just such a big story. So that's coming up at number 3 in the countdown today.
Okay, good. We've got a Ground News plucky in there, which is great. We've got 5 major breaking news stories. We do this every day at 3 o'clock. That is Zev Shalev from narrative.org. My name is Dean, deanblundell.substack.com. Listen, share with this as many people as you can. Hit the Chiron at the top right here, and make sure you subscribe to both of us as we continue to act as your Sherpas, giving you information you don't normally find anywhere else, trying to suss through the shite, which is the post-truth society information superhighway of MAGA captured bullshit. So let's get to it. Where do we start today, my friend?
We're starting with some mega bullshit. I don't know if you watched the press conference earlier on by Pete.
Oh, Hegseth, that was mega bullshit. Hegseth?
I mean,
yeah.
This was not just propaganda. It wasn't just like a little bit of, what would you call it, gaslighting. It was outright lies and deception about what's going on in Iran. So we're going to try to clear this up for you guys, because what the Secretary of War or the Secretary of Defense said today and what the truth is actually quite different, and dramatically so. The most important thing for you to know is that there were 2 destroyers, U.S. destroyers, that tried to get through the Straits of Hormuz yesterday, overnight into this morning, and they were met with a whole lot of gunfire. These 2 American warships were met by a large amount of small boats charging from multiple bearings. They had anti-ship cruise missiles in flight. They had drones overhead. Apache gunships were called in order to fight off the drones. And what is clear from this is that the Iranian military is still very much together, is able to launch coordinated attacks against 2 U.S. destroyers. And while it's true the U.S. destroyers were not hit by anything, because they're U.S. destroyers and they had Apache gunships flown in and helicopters and what have you, it's really untrue to say that there is nothing but a skirmish happening in the Straits of Hormuz. And what the Secretary of War said today, and what Dean Kane said today about there being really nothing to worry about, that these guys got through without any problem, is just BS. It's just not what happened overnight, and you deserve the truth, which is why we're giving it to you here on the FiveStack. But we'll get more into what they did in their press conference later on in the show. But I just think off the top, everyone should realize that, the American service people on board these destroyers are reporting heavy gunfire. They're reporting being under attack. And, and I'm noticing, by the way, that one of our 5 streams is not working to your site, Dean. So I don't know if you're currently on a co-stream or not, but it's giving me feedback that we cannot get onto your Substack live.
Well, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. Let me just get this on. Let me see if we can do it. Let's go. Let's add it. Let's get this going. Dean, where are you? Don't remove from the stream. Let's go. Landscape. Yeah, recommended. Here we go. Don't remove. Nah, I'll just bump this out on my thing. Keep going.
Okay. Keep going. The thing is, the people on board who are actually service people aren't getting the word out to the world, and they're saying they were under heavy fire. They were saying it was terrifying. They were saying that they're trying to get through this narrow straits, and everything that we had said months before, that this is what it would look like when American ships tried to cross the straits, actually happened. Now, it's true that the destroyers did get through the strait at the end, And it's true that, there is some sort of maybe.
They snuck out 2 boats, by the way. Yeah. I'll get to that in just a second, but continue. Yes.
But the fact is, this is a war, and it's not a skirmish, and the ceasefire is no longer in effect. They may say the ceasefire is in effect, but it doesn't look to me like a ceasefire when you have a coordinated attack on 2 American destroyers in the middle of the night. And that none of this is getting reported on U.S. media, and that none of it is actually being revealed to the American public is beyond the pale. We've reached a point now where we no longer have a free media in America, because what you're receiving is just state propaganda time and time again.
Yes, I believe they call it, quote, pure bullshit. If anybody was with us today when I was talking with Jakob Karsbo about this, and we sort of covered it with Ken Harbaugh as well when we did a little intel briefing, it's a sim. Everything you hear from the Trump regime, everything you hear from Pete Hegseth, everything you hear from Dan Kane, you said Dean Kane, highly doubt it's the old Superman that's in charge of this thing. But I don't doubt he might be next. Yeah. But the fascinating thing about what happened today is when you talk to real intel experts like Jakob Karsbo, you get the truth. When you talk to someone like you who's interested in what that truth is because you don't believe a fucking word this regime says, you get the truth. And here's the truth. You just nailed it. Is that under the cover of night, 2 destroyers, they went around the bottom horn near the UAE, Oman. So at the top of the Strait of Hormuz, you've got Iran. They've got 2 shipping lanes. Then they've actually, what's that?
I might be able to see it on the map behind us, but forget it. I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you can. But then we've also got the incredible the incredible mining of the entire Strait of Hormuz that can take super tankers. So that's done. There's an easy pass at the top, and there's this little strip at the bottom that they snuck 2 destroyers in under very heavy gunfire. Now, what came with that very heavy gunfire? You're talking about cruise missiles, anti-ship missiles, Chinese anti-ship missiles. You're talking about Shahed drones, and you're talking about literally dozens of these little boats that are just fit with man pads and rocket launchers and RPGs and machine guns. So they're under such heavy fire. And the premise for this was Operation Project Freedom. We're going to bring all of these humanitarian needs to the front of the queue when it comes to what we've done in Iran. We're going to try and get all those people stuck in the strait out, and we're going to do it under the cover of night. That's what we're doing. It's called Operation Project Freedom, which was a lie. This was just a different name for the same fucking war after they ended the 60-day ceasefire and didn't have to get approval from Congress. That's what this is. So let's just lay that on the table real quick. So the destroyers managed to get 2 boats out, not 2 super tankers, but 2 boats, one including a Danish Maersk boat that was carrying, this might shock you, U.S. military equipment that was stuck in the actual Gulf. Really? And they came under such heavy gunfire that they all turned around and split. And the reports that we're getting, and this is absolutely unbelievable to me, the reports that we're getting now from service members back to their family members, anonymous reports said it was hell on earth for hours. They were being attacked for hours, and they were told that they wouldn't be attacked. They were told that everything's fine. Man your stations. We're going to do this under the cover of night, and they got fucking pounded. There are reports also of injuries. I don't know if there are reports of any deaths because the Trump regime is North fucking Korea now. Yeah. The Trump regime is North fucking Korea. They are not going to tell you anything. They are never going to talk about their failures. And it was another extreme failure that was presented as a freedom movement for everything stuck in the Strait of Hormuz, when it was really about getting some very important key infrastructure and military equipment out of the Strait of Hormuz for some unknown fucking reason. And
so now you know the truth. You know, that's the truth. That is what has happened. Now listen to Pete Hegseth. This is him this morning at 8 o'clock this morning, telling everyone exactly what he thinks happened.
Ships from all the world want to get out of the Iranian trap that they have been stuck inside. As a direct gift from the United States to the world, we have established a powerful red, white, and blue dome over the strait. American destroyers are on station, supported by hundreds of fighter jets, helicopters, drones, and surveillance aircraft, providing 24/7 overwatch for peaceful commercial vessels, except Iran's, of course. which is why our ironclad blockade remains in full effect as well. In fact, 6 ships tried to run the blockade out of Iranian ports as Project Freedom commenced, and they were all turned around.
That's a lie.
It's a lie.
This is more than strategy. It's also humanitarian. By breaking.
There you go. Flames, he says this is a humanitarian thing. Those 6 ships were 6 gunboats that they had to blow out of the water because they were getting sewered by them on the high seas in the Strait of Hormuz. It is not a gift. This was them getting their own equipment out of the Strait of Hormuz because they were panicking. Number 2 and number 3, they all fucking turned tail and left. Yeah. They left all like hundreds of boats in there. They grabbed the 2 strategic ones they needed and fucking split and called it a gift to the world. Absolutely hysterical.
It's hysterical, but also it's making it sound like the Iranians are the aggressors here. But really, let's be clear. The straits were completely open before this war. Every vessel could go through it, no problem. So the gift they're giving the world is maybe even a slight partial passageway, but not really, just maybe a passageway that can go through a slender part of the strait if they're lucky. Because it's not really open. This is the so-called gift that they're giving the world. And then they present it like it's a gift, because this is North Korea. This is beginning to sound like North Korean propaganda. It has got the same kind
That's all
of...
it is. It's same
signaling, the same kind of bullshit that you can't believe a thing they say out of this regime or out of the Pentagon. It's just all a bunch of lies.
And you know what they didn't tell you in that press conference is that immediately after they tried to pull a fast one, Iran bombed the fuck out of Fujairah in the UAE, which is the main gas terminal that gets gas from Oman and the UAE out past the point of the Strait of Hormuz, which accounts for 50% of Oman's oil field distribution out of the actual strait. They bombed the fuck out of it. They didn't talk about that. You know why they bombed the fuck out of it? U.S. interests. That's why. They bombed the shit out of it because the United States of America and Donald Trump have an interest in Fujairah. They have an interest, a financial interest. And so because the United States, and so they still own the strait. And that was the other thing that Pete Hegseth said today. I don't know if you got the clip. He's like, Iran's embarrassed. Iran's embarrassed because they've been saying they own the strait. We own the strait. Shortly after that, because these are hostilities, right? That's what we call it. It's a fucking war. You're bombing each other. You're sinking each other's boats. You're attacking each other.
I thought you called it a ceasefire.
No. See, here's the thing. He was asked about it. Hegseth was like, someone's like, hey, I thought this was a ceasefire. Is that still going on? He goes, oh, yeah, absolutely. Total ceasefire in the region. This is now a different project.
Yeah. It's so bad. It's so bad. How stupid do they think
I was asking
people
Ken
are?
Harbaugh today, decorated Navy veteran, right?
Yeah.
Flown hundreds of missions over the Gulf. The guy's so smart. And I have him on every Tuesday and Thursday. And we're laughing like you were laughing at the whole thing. Yeah. The insult to the intelligence of the American people is nuclear at this point when it comes to Pete Nutsack and this regime. Fucking hysterical, breathtaking, it's unbelievable,
like Saturday Night Live
unbelievable.
And it's not Saturday Night Live. It's actually happening there in real time. It's just beyond belief. It's almost as crazy as the FBI director J. Edgar Boozer. Did you see this? I did this last night. I was so happy.
I love this. Yeah, you love the whole J. Edgar Boozer thing.
I was just busy on the AI, and I was like, oh, there he is, the FBI director. Meanwhile, just to change the tone a little bit, here's the former FBI director.
Oh, look at that. He's got doing seashells on the beach, James Comey, and it's a picture of Epstein. The internet remains undefeated, doesn't it? I love
the internet. The internet makes me happy every single day.
Me too.
Okay, so now that was just the breaking news, by the way, at the top of the show. Here is the FiveStack that includes a lot of that other stuff we just spoke about. I'm just going to get to the point here. So number 5 is Vladimir Putin fired the head of his air defenses today. A Ukrainian drone slammed into a luxury apartment block on Mostilmovskaya Street in Moscow on Monday, 4 miles from the Kremlin, less than 2 from the Russian Defense Ministry. General Viktor Avzalov is gone. He is Putin's big air command guy. Putin is in a bunker, apparently, in Krasnodar, we've now been able to identify. Now, there's a May 9th Victory Day parade in just 4 days, and they've scaled it back because he is terrified. Paranoid is not the word. Terrified that his life is going to come to an end should he show up at this parade. Yes, Vladimir Putin is not so safe, and that's because of the drone strikes that the Ukrainians have been able to do repeatedly inside the Moscow perimeter. And it's interesting. It is interesting that just like our fabulous president over here, their president over there likes to lie as well. Yeah, but he's collapsing.
Yeah. No, listen, this is a good news story, everybody. Yeah. Not only is, the Hegseth fucking circus and the Trump circus and the collapse of that and the collapse of everybody knowing that, we know they're full of shit. We know they're going down. It is going to be a wipeout in the midterms. Some people are going to a federal pound you in the you-know-what prison after this, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's coming. Celebrate, maybe put some Prosecco on ice, get ready, because in about 100 days, it's going to be a very different landscape. Well, because Russia's a closed economy, closed media ecosystem, we find out very little, but a whole bunch of stuff happened this week. Ahead of these May Day, which are V-Day parades celebrating the victory over the Germans in World War II, and Putin has used this as a springboard to show off his autocracy and his power, and to bring other evil Axis countries in for the same parade. China was there last year. Belarus was there last year. Iran was there last year. It became an Axis of evil parade more than anything else. They had very little equipment in the last parade, okay? Like very, very little equipment. Now, and this is a great story. Not only is Putin in hiding, he doesn't want to show up to this thing. The Russian Duma MPs are apparently not allowed to show up because he's coming. So he's like, oh, fuck, make sure all the guys that I work with don't show up just in case they want to take me out. So they're not coming. He's hiding in a fucking bunker. And the announcement went out today that there will be no military equipment in this parade. No military equipment in this parade. We got nothing left. It's fucking unbelievable. Anyway, but this is only made funnier to me. Like, Russia's going to collapse. They're in the middle of a coup. Shoigu's apparently the guy. It's this real soft kind of rolling coup where Putin is sequestered. These are all facts. I'm not lying to you about any of this stuff. These are a great story. Actually, you can read about it at deanblundell.substack.com. But the funny part is, a few days ago, if you remember at the EPC at the EU conference, Mark Carney showed up, and they're now going to big dick the world. Zelensky showed up, and he's like, "Hey, Russia, your May Day parade, huh? You know what touched down about 2 miles from where you're having the parade is one of our new Flamingo cruise missiles." And I can't promise. And here's the great part: through intermediaries, Putin asked Zelensky to hold off bombing on May 9th. Could you just hold off? And Zelensky's like, oh, we can hold off, but that means a total ceasefire and you move your fucking people out. He is not just petrified he's going to get taken out. He is deathly afraid of Vladimir Zelensky and Ukraine at this point, because they are touching Russia at will. At will, anywhere they want, which is why you saw the Air Force guy get taken care of. That's all good and well. Really fun, really interesting, really cool. But here's the catch. Ukraine knows they're winning. And Zelensky shows up to this meeting with 2 middle fingers held high in the ground, shaking hands, doing high fives with everybody, while America collapses under the weight of Trump's fascist regime and his idiocy in the Middle East and everything he's doing to his allies. There's this new cabal that has gotten together, and that EU meeting sent fear into the hearts of Vladimir Putin as his country is collapsing, he's in hiding, and the economy is in the fucking toilet. And that meeting cracked the American empire in half. We talked about it yesterday, because Ukraine is the biggest military superpower in Europe right now. Ukraine is, I'll say that again, Ukraine is needed by the EU more than the EU needs Ukraine. More than Ukraine needs the EU right now. And that is a fact.
Need Ukraine more than anyone else right now.
We all do.
No, it's absolutely true. What Zelensky has done with that, with the Ukrainian people, is remarkable, especially with their drone defenses. But, it's fascinating to me that Putin, is supposedly the greatest, superpower on earth, is what they're trying to be. And here they are spending time moving from bunker to bunker. He's told his staff, by the way, that his cooks, his bodyguards, and photographers, they can't have internet-connected phones anymore. He has cameras in his cook's bedroom because he is terrified that this guy's going to somehow...
Or he's giving it a wank. Or he's giving it a wank in there. He's
I really
like Sergei the sous chef.
I think he likes really young boys. boys. But anyhow, I don't know.
Oh, Sergey might be 19. You don't know.
Yeah. But anyhow, the fact that he's got all these cameras everywhere, no internet connected phones, surveillance cameras in their homes, you can't even get to the Kremlin without multiple screenings for visitors. And, everyone's basically waiting for Shoigu to do something now. Who knows if he will? Shoigu's still in the Kremlin officially as the head of the Security Council there. So he's not likely to do anything. But it is interesting to watch Putin fall apart in this potential coup as we wait for May 9th. And
I'll tell you what, that May 9th thing is going to be hilarious, even if it gets televised. I highly doubt it does. But there is a big, big movement among some former Russian movers and shakers who are hanging out in Cyprus to say that's enough. We need to get together with the European Union. We're on the verge of collapse. Our personal fortunes are gone. They're being used to rebuild Ukraine. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. And there's one thing, and I read a great piece today, came from one of the mill bloggers out in Russia. Actually, it's funny because these mill bloggers are now like turning on the state, they're turning on Putin, they're turning on everybody. And what they said was, and I found it really interesting. They said that you can do a lot of things to the Russian people, as we're witnessing over the last 27 years. You can't lose a war. You can't lose a war. And he's losing a war very publicly because those explosions are very fucking loud. And they are all over Russia, strategically scaring the shit out of people from St. Petersburg to Moscow. And people are disappearing from their homes. Young men are not coming home from military training. Conscription and arrests are at an all-time high. The internet is shut down in Russia. You cannot lose a war. He's losing this war. And I would expect, Jacob said he doesn't have a timeline, Karsbo, our friend, Danish military intelligence, but he expects there to be some real movement very, very soon in Russia, which is absolutely fantastic news.
It's fascinating. They have lost 5,000 soldiers, 5,000 lives for every square kilometer that they've been able to get from the Ukrainians in the slow war. Think about it. Every square kilometer, 5,000 dead soldiers.
Crazy.
And they've been willing to do that. They've been willing to sacrifice those guys because it actually makes some money on the other side for their oligarchs and their military industrial complex. But the fact that they're willing to lose that many people and have achieved very little is kind of stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday was this is the number 4 story, the Met Gala, now hosted by Jeff and Lauren Sanchez Bezos. They chaired the whole thing, $10 million.
Wait, whoa. He hyphenated with her name?
Well, that's what it says here. I mean, Jeff and Lauren Sanchez Bezos, but maybe it's the other way. I don't know. Maybe just Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez Bezos. I don't know how it works. But they basically have now taken over this, what was once quite of a fun event. It used to be all about fashion. It used to be all about art. Now it's just about all the money you can make. Zoran Mamdani, the newly elected mayor of New York, chose not to attend. Beyonce, let's take a look at some of the outfits that they had here. Okay, let's just see what they got.
Why? Why are we doing this?
Because it's kind of funny what they're wearing. It is funny. You don't want to do it, we don't have to do it. We can.
We might as well. I just, every picture I saw from the Met Gala made me sicker than the next, knowing what's going on in America.
She's a skeleton. It's all about diamonds and it's feathered. And this is Rihanna looking like, I don't know, what does that look like to you?
A donut? A diseased donut, like a rotten donut.
It's something. I don't know. Is that fashion? I don't know what that is.
No, that's some woman with a bed sheet. I think that's Sabrina Carpenter in a flapper dress, I guess.
Yes.
Is that what I'm seeing?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
No idea who that is.
This is someone, Margot Robbie.
Okay, she's cute.
Some Chamberlain chick. I don't know who that is.
No idea.
Is a tree.
Yeah.
I guess the names are back
This is a tree. Did you see Sam Smith? Gay crooner Sam Smith.
I think he's in here somewhere.
Oh, is he?
Doja Cat. This is
Jay-Z in a suit.
You can do better, Jay.
I guess.
This is you'll know these names better than I do. Who's this guy? Rocky. Something Rocky.
ASAP Rocky. Yeah, he's married to Rihanna. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. We'll keep it small screen here. Let's see what else they got. John Baptiste. This is Bad Bunny in.
He's dressed like Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I don't mind this outfit actually. I like the outfit. It's pretty good.
I guess.
Don't ask me why. Okay, it's very colorful. I like the colors. It's very nice. Okay. Okay. This is Heidi Klum as the Statue of Liberty without the liberty, I guess. I don't know.
Albino Statue of Liberty.
I don't know what's going on.
Is that what that
there.
is? I don't either.
know, but it's Heidi Klum. She could do better.
I don't understand this Met Gala. I never understood the Met Gala. Every picture, like, dude, I only saw pictures in passing, just flipping through, scrolling through social media for having coffee this morning. So what I do, I get up, I make coffee, I sit down, I flip through for the ridiculousness, my favorite a couple things to read about later. But each one of these pictures turn me off more and more. Like, this is the excess, the stupidity, the cosplaying, the costume bullshit that is the United States of America at a time when they're at war, right? Inflation's at an all-time high, gas is $6 a liter. This is the most tone-deaf event.
That's the thing. It's tone deaf. It's beyond tone
Fucking
deaf.
crazy to me. Yeah.
And these guys are spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on their dresses, on their looks, and they think people care what they wear enough. You know, here's Sam Smith. I don't know what is going on.
He looks like he's a fucking peacock, like a bearded peacock, I guess. I don't know.
It's a look. It's a look, as they say. But you're right. I mean, this is insane. And the fact that, you know, it's now chaired by Bezos and his wife, the fact that it's now worth, you know, millions and millions of dollars, it's just another sign that the Citadel and all its superstars, all its celebrities, all the American elite, everybody is bought and paid
They
for by the
don't give a fuck about you people. Like, if you want to get angry, you know, continue to watch these outfits, because I'm getting angrier the more you show me. And
you know, meanwhile, it's almost $6 a gallon of gas in parts of the country now.
28 million more people don't have Medicaid. There's 700,000 projected 710,000 medical bankruptcies in the United States. These people at this stupid fucking gala could remedy that.
She wasn't there.
And instead, there's Laura Loomer.
She wasn't there, but anyhow.
No shit, she wasn't there. The only person that could have gone to the Met Gala and not need a costume, because she looks like one, right? She looks like fucking Jigsaw from Saw. Oh, she does, dude.
She does.
But according to her dad,
that's the reference.
according to her dad, according to Laura Loomer's dad, she gives, quote, one hell of a blowjob. So
only to the president. Only to the president. The president gets the greatest blowjobs ever,
according to her dad. Yeah. Anyway,
that's something. That's the number 4 story.
Summary is fuck the Met Gala. Next story, please.
Number 3 is the story that comes out of Ground News today. It's the blind spot story that everyone should know about, and of course you know about it because it's all about Alberta. Stay Free Alberta delivered more than 302,000 signatures to Election Alberta yesterday. That clears the threshold. I don't know where Dean's gone, but hopefully he'll be back. A province-wide referendum on independence is now mandatory. The earliest vote is October. The story has barely registered in American media, but it exists on groundnews.com, where you can get 40% off right now through this incredible offer at groundnews.com/FiveStack, 40% off. And as soon as Dean gets back, he'll tell us all about it. I don't know what happened to his feed there, but I am really interested in getting his take on this Stay Free Alberta campaign, which, as you all know, is really manufactured by the same people who made MAGA. This is not some separate thing. It is MAGA, just infiltrating Canada.
Maple
now
MAGA.
It's managed to raise 302,000 signatures.
No, they didn't. They lied about that. They raised about 177,000. And then they stole 2.9 million email addresses and the personal information and leaked it through a thing called the Centurion app. Now, let me explain the ecosystem in one of my favorite provinces. Grew up in Alberta, went to the University of Calgary in Alberta. Love the province. Beautiful, beautiful people. They are being held hostage by a bunch of fucking hillbillies and neckbeards that are in love with Donald Trump, Jesus Christ, and evangelical white Christian nationalism. Okay? Alberta is also a hotbed for these, like, concubine weird religious sect communities, whether it's Mormon in the South or whether it's born again evangelical Christians or Quakers or Hutterites. They're surrounded because Alberta is very vast and people were given vast plots of land growing up, like Orthodox religions, and they've been there for a very long time. They own certain communities and municipalities because there's so many of them in certain areas. And about 16% of that province is holding the other 84% of that province hostage right now through this process of trying to separate. Where it gets really interesting is a fella that I know and I've interviewed several times. Like, I know him fairly well. I've gone and visited him. We've had meetings about what Take Back Alberta is. He took over the United Conservative Party. His name's David Parker. And David Parker, I know him, so I'm okay saying this, is one of the more icky people to be around. He's one of the more disgusting, untruthful, underhanded, duplicitous, lying, cosplaying, evangelical / Catholic extremist you will ever fucking meet. As he said to me once, the only thing I get out of bed for is money, and never for less than $10,000. So, very important to remember that.
What Heidi Klum used to say.
He has he's no Heidi Klum, I'll tell you that. He's got very fucking deep ties to Moms for Liberty, Tucker Carlson. He and his friends sponsored the Tucker Carlson tour in Alberta and made sure that they made money off of things like VIP meetings and selling packages to people. And David's whole thing is, how can I make money off of chaos? But more importantly, how can I destroy the Confederation? Because David Parker is what we would call an abysmal fucking political failure across this country, who was relegated to Alberta when he got kicked out of serving for the Conservative Party of Canada. He is the victim class. He is the Epstein class. And he's got such a hard-on to remove Alberta from Canada's federation. He organized with some of the biggest pieces of shit in that province, from Tamara Leash to Chris Barber, everybody that organized the Flu Trucks Clan Trucker Convoy. He was deeply embedded in that. To guys like Cam Davies. And so what they did, they started this thing called the Alberta Republican Party. Dave, no points for originality.
At least he's telling it like it is.
Well,
he's admitting what it is.
And here's the thing, is that I give him a little bit of credit because he's like, fuck you. I don't care what the courts say. Come and get me. I did what I had to do. Like, that's what they're saying right now. But everybody's passing blame. David might do well in prison. Nobody else. And none of these other neckbeards will do well in prison. All the other neckbeards will get punished. So they're going to prison, a bunch of them. Because what they did was, because they work the Alberta Republican Party, Jeffrey Rath, Dennis Modry, they work hand in hand with guys like Pete Hoekstra, the U.S. ambassador to Canada, into the United States, a breath away from the Oval Office, with people like Scott Bessent. I'm not kidding you. They've been offered $500 million. $500 million is a reward if you can remove Alberta from Canada. We want the oil resources. You want to be down here with us. You're a Christian nation, like Donald Trump wants America to be a Christian nation. And this last week, over 40 YouTube channels and hundreds of different individual influencing social media accounts from the Netherlands were outed in this major sting operation as being bought and paid for, flooding Alberta with disinformation about the state of Canada, why they should leave, et cetera, et cetera. Keep in mind, this is 16% of the province holding 84% of the province fucking hostage. Well, during that process, someone in MAGA in the United States was able to somehow get a hold of the very personal and private data and information of 2.9 million Albertans. Names, addresses, social security numbers, banking information, voter rolls, the things that Donald Trump really wants to kind of try to evade responsibility in 2026 and 2028. And they gave that, the Alberta Republican Party then handed that, of which David Parker is a founder, handed that to David Parker for this thing called the Centurion app. And they encouraged everybody to log on and get into the Centurion app so that you could educate yourself about voters and what was coming. But in that app was all this stored fucking private data. It is now the biggest privacy leak in Canadian history. And David Parker and Cam Davies and Marty Up North. That's right. He calls himself Marty Up North. He's a very confused French guy with a neck beard. It's like, I hate the fucking Indians, you guys. I hate them. They're all racist. They're all fucking stupid. They're all maple maggots. And I can tell you this, Dave, Marty, I know you're going to watch this because I'm going to send it to you. You're all going to jail.
You know what's amazing to me is that two great stories, big stories that you just buried in that incredible story, which you just told us. But the one thing you said there was this huge privacy leak of the Canadian information. But the other thing was $500 million. $500 million has been spent on trying to buy Alberta by the Americans.
Promised to the quorum of people delivering Alberta to America, $500 million is a transitionary loan from someone who was, quote, a step away from the Oval Office, believed to be Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary.
Of course, Scott Bessent. Who wouldn't think that would be the person?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, you said there's a whole bunch of influencers that have been caught and identified as being part of this whole operation in order to influence Albertans.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like
out of the
massive
Netherlands, paid
news.
out of MAGA in the United States and here in Canada. There is foreign interference out the asshole. There is foreign funding out the asshole. And the RCMP raided David Parker's office. They raided the United Conservative Party's office. And now elections. Oh, by the way, prior to this, magically, the premier of the province, who's very good friends with David Parker, Danielle Smith, who's just a fucking cretin. She's doing a free Canada symposium with Pete Hoekstra and and Mike Pompeo here in Canada this week. I shit you not. I shit you not. So
gotta attend that.
It is the most I think it's the most corrupt province, the most corrupt leadership, and they are fully embedded, fully captured by MAGA, which is the importance in my mind. And I shared this with some friends of mine today because, yes, I'm friends with people that are pushing back against this, including the Save America movement. There are going to be public hearings that will change the course of Canadian law and political law in this country because of this. These are traitors. These are quislings. These are people actively working against Canada's national sovereignty, actively working against the people of Alberta. And the people of Alberta are beautiful, absolutely beautiful people. And it's the exact same triggers. It's the exact same people. And it's just Maple MAGA. And boy, oh boy, I can't wait for those perp walks. Because they're coming.
One thing you can be certain of when you're talking about this kind of stuff is it's a lot of foreign interference. It's a lot of programmatic, psychoanalytical, whatever information that's being sent at you that is not true. And there's a lot of grifting. I mean, there's just so much grifting going on. It blows your mind. These guys are just in it for the money. The people of Alberta are not interested in this. They're not supportive of this. They've all just doing it for the money. The ones that are supposedly signed, and even they don't exist. So, it's just a grift. It's just a giant grift. And no, Alberta's not leaving Canada anytime soon. However, these guys might be in jail. What's that word you like? You like that word. It's a
Schadenfreude?
Yeah, that word.
Yeah, it's German for fuck faces. What? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Some people enjoying other people's
Schadenfreude. Yeah, Schadenfreude's my favorite feeling in the world. Like, and the things that you rail against because you try to rail against the bad things for the good reasons. And when something bad happens to one of the bad people, you know how you have a different gear than me in that capacity, right? Where like something bad happens to a bad person, you feel a tinge of like, oh, that's too bad. I don't want that to happen to them. I don't want that guy.
Yeah.
I do not have that gear. I want all the bad things for all the bad people here. All the bad things. And Alberta's not going anywhere.
Well, you might get it. And that story, the Is Alberta Going to Secede story, is the blind spot on today's groundnews.com. So
great
check
story.
It out. It's where we found it. I mean, I knew about the story. You knew about the story because you covered it on Dean Blundell, but it didn't quite surface into our top 5 until it was shown on groundnews.com, where you can now get 40% off by using this key. It's groundnews.com/FiveStack, or use the key FiveStack when you sign up.
They're awesome.
It's an awesome thing to do. The number 2 story on the countdown is all about the GOP trying to slip in this deal, $1 billion in proposed Senate reconciliation deal. So what they've done is, this ballroom that isn't getting built because no one wants to fund it. Well, late last night, Senate Republicans unveiled the legislative text for $1 billion in what they're calling now White House security. Chuck Grassley calls it the East Wing Modernization Project. The bill says the money cannot be used for non-security elements. And Grassley's spokesperson says it does not fund the actual ballroom. It's just all about $1 billion.
That's a lie. Yeah.
The White House spokesperson says
a little bulletproof glass, and that's White House security. There you go.
Yeah,
you got your
bunker. The bunker, is old bunker, but you need, the bunker sits underneath the ballroom, so you kind of need the ballroom to cover the bunker. Otherwise, it's not going to be very secure anyhow. So that is not likely to get through Congress, but at least they're trying. The number 1 story on the countdown today. We already covered it. It's all about the what's going on with the lies around the Pentagon briefing this morning. The 7 boats sunk, the missiles fired at the UAE, the response from the UAE, and of course these 2 destroyers trying to make their way all the way through the Straits and being fended off by Iranian boats and other weapons. So that is the top 5, the FiveStack today.
Folks, I hope you really enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you're not sick of me today. This is my 3rd live.
Man?
I'm sick of me today. It's funny. I get sick of me more than I think anybody else gets sick of me, and I got sick of seeing me today. So I hope you didn't get sick of seeing me today.
I am always happy to see you. I love seeing you. I didn't see your other live, so for you, it's just fresh Dean.
Whoa! You didn't see my other lives. I thought you were my friend.
Didn't. You know, I love you, but I didn't quite get a chance to do it today because But normally I catch up with everything you do.
Oh,
you did it with Ken Harbaugh today, didn't you?
Yeah.
You got it. And do it, Jacob.
Carsbo. We went for a swim today. Listen, everybody, thank you for joining us for the FiveStack today. It is absolutely my pleasure, always is, to join you. Same thing with my friend Zev Shalev over at narrative.org. And there's one way for this to get in front of more people, become a paid subscriber. There's another way for this to get in front of more people, become a free subscriber. Paid gets us to the top of the algorithm. Shares also do the same thing, as do free subs. 35% off for the remainder of May because it's this thing. I got to get as many people in the door as we can to get people to share this stuff. Annual subscriptions never go up. You can lock that price in forever and get unlimited access over at deanblundell.substack.com, where you can read all about this elections Alberta stuff. I wrote a whole piece about it. And you can also read about Pete Nutsack's incredible performance today, which was really fascinating. And you can also get the down low on what exactly is going on in Iran, as we discussed today. deanblundell.substack.com. Narrative.org is where you'll find my friend Zev Shalev. What do you have for us there today,
I'm going to follow your lead on that discount because it worked out really well this weekend. Lots of new subscribers. We welcome them all and we want more. So we'll do that. But coming up later on today at 5 o'clock, for paid subscribers, this incredible event, Dinner at the Table of Jeffrey Epstein. This is an amazing tape. I've listened to it a few times now. The more I listen to it, the more profound it is. At first, I was sort of, whatever. But it's a conversation between Ehud Barak, Larry Summers, and Jeffrey Epstein. It was taped as they were having what they thought was a private dinner conversation. We've enhanced it. We've edited it. So it's not 3.5 hours. It's just an hour and a bit. And Ann Mitchell and I, the attorney who does her Substack here on Substack at 5 o'clock, will be playing it out. It's really interesting. They talk about Iran. They talk about Israel. They talk about their own personal developments. But then they also have this coaching session where Jeffrey Epstein coaches Ehud Barak on what he's going to do after he becomes prime minister. It's fascinating because it gives you an insight into the dynamics of these powerful people and how this network really operated. Plus, what they say about Iran is actually happening right now. So this is 13 years ago. And they were having a conversation which you would classify then as an intelligence briefing. And the actual results are being worked out right now in the world as we watch Donald Trump do what he's doing today. It's really worth your time to join us.
Must watch. Yeah. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's really, really worth your time. And it's going to be good times. So join us for that. That's coming up in just under an hour. And then just because I like you so much, here's a little... Cheers.
J. Edgar Boozer going for it in the club. Oh my God, you're gonna get sued. Cash. J. Edgar Boozer is coming for you next.
I think I'm launching an entire TV series just based on this character. Why not? Thank you for being here on the FiveStack.
He wrote a bunch of books about him being a wizard that killed the woke demons in the world. So there's no reason why you shouldn't do a series of kids' books called J. Edgar Boozer that warned kids about the dangers of being a duplicitous alcoholic.
Undercover all night long at the clubs at his desk at 7 a.m. every day, everybody. The best director, hardest working ever. Thank you for being here on the FiveStack. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and I'll see you again at 5 p.m.
Bye, guys.
Have a great one.